I'm Ben Phillips, the rector here at St. George's Church, and I'm here to talk to you about a very important question that is before our wonderful congregation. Things are going really well at St. George's. We are a vibrant, healthy, Christ-centered, gospel-oriented church with a clear mission to make disciples, and we do that by focusing on four key aspects of the Christian life: worship, love, learn, and serve. We have just completed successfully a wonderful capital campaign. The response from our community has been fantastic, and it demonstrates to me that we are a church, a Christian community that is energized and vitalized. And one of the key questions that now is before us is, what is our next missional horizon? What is our next opportunity? What is it that we want to focus our energies and our attention on for the foreseeable future? I believe that God has blessed us and is calling us to be a source of renewal and vitality in our region, in our area. And we have grown larger since the pandemic in terms of the numbers of people joining our church, present in worship, present in education, in outreach and in service to our community and in fellowship. We are growing. But I also want us to be asking the question, how might we also grow not just by addition, but also by multiplication? So to that end, what is the next challenge? What is the next horizon? For some churches, they might be discerning or considering the prospect of building a new building, founding a school, building some sort of outreach pantry, some sort of ministry to the community. Or they might be considering starting a second campus. One of the things that is important for us to remember is that St. George's began by forward-thinking church leaders looking in Dayton southward to the growth. And in the 1950s, in the early 1950s, they made a decision to start a new church where the community was active and growing. And that's where we came into being. That's St. George's origin story. And in a very real sense, we're continuing that legacy. So what we want to consider is the question of, is the best way for us to continue making disciples, to grow by multiplying, would be to consider a second campus. And in all likelihood, the best location for a second campus would be looking south, again, continuing in that legacy that brought St. George's into being. South of here is the community of Springboro, which is one of the fastest growing communities in the state of Ohio. It's more than doubled in the last few decades. And in the middle of Springboro is a parish called St. Francis. St. Francis has been around since the 1980s, but they have been without a rector for about 15 years now. And we have been slowly and intentionally discerning in conversation with their vestry what an ongoing relationship with them might look like. To that end, St. Francis's vestry and St. George's vestry have recently just agreed to a year of discernment, a period of intentionally getting to know each other's congregations, between leadership, between various ministries, getting to know our two communities, with the possible outcome of merging the two congregations, whereby St. Francis would become St. George's South Campus. Now, again, it is important to understand that what is on the table here is simply discernment, a year in which we would get to know each other, and at the end of which we would then ask a question: would we like to merge and make St. Francis officially our South Campus? So that is the question, that is the discernment that faces us now. And there's a few key things that I'd like you to know about this as we move forward.
Hi, friends. I'm Cal Lane. I'm the Associate Rector here at St. George's Church, and I want to share with you some of the particulars of this discernment year. I want to list out for you 4 things that you need to know right now. I'm sure I'm sure you have lots of questions, as do we. We're entering into this with an open mind and an open heart, and we're going to learn through it. But there's 4 things right now that we believe you should know here at this point. Number 1, this is only a discernment. Nothing permanent has been decided. We are not presently merging. Let me say that again. We are not presently merging. We are entering into a discernment year. Now, granted, it will be very intentional. We're going to have meetings between all of the major ministry areas here at this church and the major ministry areas at St. Francis's. So you can imagine what those would look like. Things from buildings and finance and music and education. Everything we do there wants to get to know everything that St. Francis does. We want to get to know each other. Only after a year of intentional discernment will we be able to responsibly ask the question, do we wish to merge? It just wouldn't be realistic, it wouldn't be responsible to ask that question now. The second thing I need to tell you, and this is probably the most visible thing that you will notice, is that starting August 24th, I will be leading worship at St. Francis's roughly 2 Sundays a month, roughly 3 Sundays out of 6, something along those lines, and we will publicize those dates. Their service is at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, and their location is 225 Main Street in Springboro. So, friends, I want to emphasize, though, I am not leaving St. George's. I'm not leaving the staff. I will still be preaching. I will still be teaching. I will still be celebrating the Eucharist. I will still be overseeing our family ministries. However, a couple Sundays a month, 3 Sundays out of 6, somewhere in there, I will be leading worship at that campus, at St. Francis's Church. That brings me to the third piece, a rather natural progression here. This discernment year involves you. No, I'm not talking to someone else. I am talking to you. We are inviting every member of St. George's Church to pick a Sunday and worship at that location. Worship with the people of St. Francis's Church sometime this fall, sometime in the winter, sometime in the early spring. Go down and visit our friends. Go down and visit our brothers and sisters at St. Francis's Church. Again, their worship is at 10:30, and we will publicize, again, the Sundays that I'm there so that you can plan ahead and know that you'll see a friendly face. It'll be the familiar preaching that you're used to, the familiar worship leadership that you're used to there. Again, 10:30 a.m., 225 Main Street in Springboro. Friends, you might go down there. You might go down there and think, this isn't for me. I get it, though. I get how God is at work and how this could become our South Campus, quite possibly. And that will be a blessing for this overall discernment, even if you go down there and think, hey, this isn't for me. On the other hand, you might visit and think, I'm up for something new. I'm up for a new adventure. I'm up for being a part of something like a church plant. I'm up for being a part of a smaller, possibly authentic community, but with something of the same DNA as St. George's Church. And in that respect, I hope that you might pray about that possibility. But either way, we're inviting every single member of St. George's to go and visit. The fourth and final thing I want to share with you is this. We have created a webpage, and it will have a list of frequently asked questions, FAQs, and along with this video. We want to keep you as informed as possible. We want to be transparent about what we're doing. Overall, please hold this in prayer. Please hold this in prayer and know that this is all emerging out of our commitment, our singular, unambiguous commitment to make disciples of Jesus Christ. That is why we're doing this.